Why is it important to innovate and improve your business? If you've been stuck trying to figure out how to improve things in this business, this video has some tips just for you. We'll start by answering if innovation is actually even important to your business right now. We'll take a look at what you need to evaluate in terms of customer feedback before reinventing. And then lastly, we'll take a look at the kinds of things you may want to consider innovating in your organization. You ready to get started? Let's go. The first question we want to answer is it important to innovate? Now, we might be tempted to think, yes, everyone should be innovating. All kinds of businesses can improve from innovation. And I would say that's true a majority of the time, but not always. You see, I'm someone who's speaking to you who has just paid Amish people a lot of money to put shelving in my home office and my home library. They're very proud of their shelving, y'all, and they charge accordingly. But the quality of their work is incredible. And it's the same quality they've put out for hundreds of years. They've been known for this kind of hand-created, handcrafted, not using any kind of electric tools, technology for building. And so for them, I'm sure they have innovations in terms of their techniques, but leveraging all the newest technology doesn't actually improve the perception of their work. In fact, I would go as far as to say is if I found out that a group of Amish people that were building my shelving were actually using power tools, in my mind that might actually take away from a little bit of the mystique and really why I'm buying from them, because I'm expecting something that's hand done the old way, the right way, right? There's this perception. Another example would be if you've seen people that when they're buying wedding dresses, they want that hand done silk. So these are people that are creating these things by hand. We've seen this with carpeting as well, where hand done carpeting fetches a much, much higher amount than carpeting that's done in traditional workshops. I say all that to say that we have to understand what it is that we're being hired to do. Because sometimes we're being paid more because people want a boutique experience. They want a hand-done experience. They're not coming to us for innovation. They're not coming for us even for speed. Our value lies in the quality and attention to detail of the product. If you have that kind of business, I'm not saying you shouldn't ever innovate. We need to understand the type of experience that our customers are looking for. Speaking of which, let's dig a little bit closer into what we just talked about in terms of what are our customers looking for. Are your customers coming to you because you're Walmart? Are they coming to you because you sell efficiency? So for instance, if you think about Walmart versus a Target, the people that love Walmart over Target say that Target, it's a little too fancy for them. Walmart, it has everything. You get in and out, no frills, there you go. Target has more design elements. It's a little bit fancier. So we have to understand why people are coming to us. That goes back to that first point that we talked about, right? And let's talk about efficiency. An organization like Amazon rose to the top because of its level of efficiency. Yes, they had a mass allowance of tons of products like Walmart on steroids. On top of that, they're super fast with their delivery. What that means is they should always be innovating around speed, because as soon as they have a competitor that can deliver faster, they're in trouble. So we have to understand our competitive advantage and innovate around that advantage. Before we go into the last 3 points, I have a question for you. Have you already subscribed to this channel? If you haven't, what are you waiting for? This is your opportunity. Go ahead and take a second to do that right now. So we've taken a look at why our customers are buying from us. The first 3 points were really all around understanding our customers and what our competitive advantage are and why people want to purchase our products or our services. But another thing we have to consider is that business cycles are shrinking. When I talk about business cycles, I mean the length of time that a business can actually operate without having to completely reinvent or renew itself. We know that in the mid-1900s, companies lasted for almost 75 years without having to do any major changes or innovation. That doesn't mean they didn't change over time, but in terms of their business model, they could remain fairly the same. You look at a company like Coca-Cola and what it looked like for the first 75 to 80 years it existed, its business model didn't change a whole lot, although luckily some of its ingredients did a little bit because, folks are having a little too much fun with Coca-Cola, right? But you look at Coca-Cola now and how often they're changing what they're doing and the partnerships they've forged and all of the types of beverages and other things that they have their hands in. It's very different than how it started off. Why am I telling you this? Business cycles are shrinking. So now we're estimating that it's closer to 3 to 7 years before a company has to almost completely reinvent themselves. And reinvention can look different ways. It might be innovating. It might be through acquisition or partnerships. It might be even taking what it's already offering and kind of tweaking it so it can offer it to a new market. But what we do have to understand is now that business cycles are shrinking, the atmosphere is becoming more competitive for everyone who wants to stay in business. And that means that we do have to consider if we have to innovate or die. So I know that sounds a little extreme, but again, I mentioned earlier, if people aren't coming to you for the newest and the fanciest, you may not be always using new technology, but at the end of the day, with businesses fighting for survival at a much higher rate than they used to, we can't afford to have our eyes closed and not consider what items we can do that will make our customer service even better, that'll make our competitive advantage that much better. So you might be thinking, oh, I'm busy, I'm just trying to run the business, I don't have time for all this extra stuff. Understand that other businesses will innovate around your customer experience problems. So to give you an example, when we think about taxi companies versus Uber and Lyft, Uber and Lyft only exist because all these existing taxi companies rested on their laurels and they figured, okay, people call in to our dispatchers all the time asking, where's my cab? Where's my cab? I called for it so long ago. Or saying they can't get cabs in specific neighborhoods. But what are they going to do? This is how this type of transportation works. Either you're going to have to get some type of fancy car service or they'll deal with it. Except you had organizations like Uber and Lyft that said, no, they don't have to deal with it. We have a solution that can fix your customer service problem. This is especially true when we think about a lot of the apps that rely on that share economy where you have individual humans that are just picking up where these other companies have left off and they're filling in the gap. The other thing that's kind of interesting too is that when you do decide to innovate or create, or your team kind of brainstorms different ideas, be careful what you put out there, because if you decide not to follow up on it, there might be another organization, maybe even a competitor, that picks up on your cast-offs. So for instance, a lot of people, when they think about the company Kodak, and we ask, what happened to Kodak? Because they used to be really at the top of the game when it came to photography, right? For picture taking, all things dealing with pictures. And people say, oh, the digital photo just basically did them in. Well, who invented that? Guess who? Kodak. Kodak did, but they thought it was a little side project. They didn't think it was that important. They just thought it was something to play with. But then their competitors took their idea and ran with it. So part of the reason we need to innovate is to ensure that we're staying ahead of the crowd, and we're not innovating out of fear, but we're innovating because we're constantly finding ways to solve those customer experience challenges. We're constantly looking for ways to reduce friction so that it's easier for our clients and our customers to do business with us. Speaking of reducing friction, I want to help you reduce friction around your future. What you're going to notice is in the description of this video, there's a link to download a Future Ready Playbook. This playbook is chock full of information and all kinds of goodies and worksheets that will help you be more strategic at planning for your future, whether we're talking about your personal future, your professional future, or as we're talking about in this video, your organization's future. If you haven't already downloaded it, go ahead and do it today.